we often will have meetings about medical things, but we rarely have meetings about or classes about refraction, for example, or we hardly ever have classes about lenses, frames, and the lab. And part of the lab is, that's really where you make your money. So, and nowadays where everything is pretty high cost, there's a considerable amount of way that you could work smarter and not harder by changing up operations. And today we're going to have some guests here and see if everybody's still visible. Okay, so Jason Barr, he is the senior IOF representative, that's in-office finishing representatives, and he is an ABOC, and he's with Santinelli, and he will be giving us insights on how to make money by doing your own lab work. And along that same measure here, we have Hugh McManus, and he's the manager of operations for FastGrind, also known as Super Optical, and John Corsini. John Corsini's president of FastGrind Super Optical. So we're looking forward to a very lively discussion here, and we will have questions that you can ask us through the chat or the Q&A.
Well, thanks for the introduction there, Dr. Brill. I want to let you know that this is not a sponsored podcast. Santinelli, Super Optical, we did not pay them to be here. We're having these.
They didn't pay us either. They didn't pay us either.
They didn't pay us either. The reason we have them on is they're highly qualified to be talking about this subject matter. There's a lot of people out there that are just in sales and all they know is sales. But these gentlemen here, they know the technical side, they know the marketing and the money side behind it, and that's why they're here. So, Dr. Brill, thanks for funding the Entrepreneur podcast with your credit card.
It's been my pleasure over the last, over a year now. We've had about 95 podcasts and videos and skits that we've done, so on all sorts of topics, and it's been a pleasure.
All right.
So here we are, Brady Bunch style, and we are going to, why don't we have each one in kind of introduce himself and say what they do at their company. So,
and go ahead, Hugh. Tell us your background in the industry.
Sure. So I started with Super Optical in 2012 in their marketing department and have since transitioned to the manager of operations and just do general operations, but I also work very closely with all of our customers to make sure that the quality that they're receiving from our lenses is where it needs to be, as well as that the machine's performing properly. John, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, well, John Corsini. I've been in the industry now for 25 years and have worked with Super Optical and FastGrind to enable ECPs to become more self-reliant and to save a lot of money on their lab bills, make more profit, and to be able to offer exceptional customer service. And we're proud to be in over 50 countries around the world, almost every state in the U.S., and we're also utilized by the U.S. military. So it's been great being part of this industry. A lot of you that are on this podcast, I'm sure I've seen you or you've seen me at the shows all around, and welcome. I hope everybody is keeping safe, and I hope you find this very informative.
Well, John mentioned something called profit, but is that okay to make? I mean, aren't we supposed to just pass along all the savings to our patients and be really nice guys and gals? I mean, I always thought that if you can get something cheaper, you just pass along the profit that you would normally make to patients. I mean, if I could buy a frame that would wholesale for $100 and sell for $300, if I could buy that one just on a good guy discount for $10, aren't I supposed to sell that for $30? I mean, it's a 3-time markup. So correct me if I'm wrong on that, gentlemen. I mean, same thing for those big optical lenses that would wholesale for now $300, $350. I mean, is it moral to make them for $30 and make profit on it, or should I just lower the cost to the patient to maybe just $100?
I'm not sure it's moral to sell them for $350 because the actual cost is quite a bit less. It's just when you're buying from the lab, there's quite a huge markup. So the nice thing about being able to do in-office processing, both surfacing and edging, is you can control your cost. You can give a good discount to your customers, but your margins are going to be greater. So the nice thing is you're going to be making more money, but you're going to be selling it to your customer for less than what you're doing now. So
Or the same.
you're being a good guy and you're making money at the same time.
Okay, so it's American still to make money, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think, John, you brought up a good point. When you're getting that $350 lab bill, not only are you paying for that material cost, which is probably pretty low, you're paying for their marketing team, their brochures, the fuel that rep is using. There's a lot of overhead. The donuts, the expo parties, the knickknacks. So,
you know, Dr. Brill, I heard you mention frame, and my take on that is when you incorporate in-office finishing, there are many different benefits that come alive with just that one investment in the equipment. One of those that I love to promote is making your own frame and lens package, which you own yourself in your practice. It could be a complement to frame lines, which you already have, that then they have models that are being discontinued. If you have an edger, you can keep those frames, you can bundle them with lenses and create your own frame and lens package instead of being a locked-in distributor for the same old frame and lens package from a lab that everybody else is doing.
I mean, I could take last season's model frames and
like we talked about. Yeah, I'm glad you like that. I call it last season's collection. I wouldn't use the word closeout or discontinued. It's just a merchandising thing. But when you have an edger, you have ability to process your own lenses in office. That stale inventory can mean something to your patients, which means something to your business. Instead of just sitting in a drawer for that temple that you might need in the future, you know, you can actually release those and sell them to your private pay patients, and it works very well, you know, on the frame side of things.
Yeah, so the way it works is these lenses, when they're born from Big Optical, they don't come out with a name on them. They don't have like a marketing name. In fact, labs call them pucks. We call them like a hockey puck, and they look like a puck. So they have attributes put onto them by Big Optical and there's a puck right there by Big Optical, and that all that marketing, you pay a lot for that marketing. So we're not disparaging the Big Optical. They have their place, but if you want to be more profitable, then you could put your own name on that lens. I mean, it's not born with some letter that starts with a V or, you know, a P or anything else like that. So be smarter about it. Nobody really knows. Nobody cares about what type of lens that they have. I mean, when I go to the dentist, I don't ask him what type of amalgam he's using, or what type of gloves or soap or anything like that. So these are part of our trade secrets, and make the most of it and help yourself be more profitable. I know when my friends say, hey, you've been busy, I think you should be asking me, have you been profitable? Everybody's busy.
Well, that's being said, I see Anissa here at the very bottom, and she says, you know, that fears having to hire somebody just to edge. And my position is, if you do, it's a great problem to have. The added efficiency that an edger will deliver, the personnel that you currently have in your practice, there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to edge that job instead of wrapping it up with a frame to come, sending it out to a lab, and then waiting in limbo when they could have realistically had those lenses delivered tomorrow by noon, popped them in an edger, 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, they've got the job ready, they're calling the patient, and they're the hero. You know, very rarely will I tell a doctor or ECP that you need to hire somebody new. Typically, it's the exercise of delegation, identifying that staff member that would be a good fit, but also now with the edgers being so easy to run, it's the cross-functional training. I mean, they're all learning how to run the edger. So they, you know, it's the redundancy if the staff has to be sick or something, but the days of having that Oz behind the curtain, turning dials, and the only person that knows how to run that mystery machine in the back those days are really over with today's technology. And so with the added efficiencies, I would say most often, no, unless you've waited way too long to buy an edger, you don't need to hire somebody just to run it. And if you did, it's a great problem for your practice.
The same is true for FastGrind at that point, where anyone in the optical is going to be able to run it, and we encourage cross training for that type of technology. So there's no real concern for that. And when you pair a FastGrind with an edger, it just accelerates those savings even further.
Hey,
All right, we
Brandon,
got a few panelists on here. So we have Dr. Klepfitz and Dr. Shaw will be joining us. And let's see who else we can get in here.
Are we going to put anybody on, Perry, to ask the
Yep,
question?
Dr. Klepfitz, how you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Good. Ask a question. What's going on?
So I've got a small space in a downtown area, literally a 10-foot wide closet with a cabinet. I have drainage, I have water hookups. I like to use premium products only, the best I can get for my patients. We're trying to get into more cash pay. What do I need to get up and running? How much space do I need? Can I get these premium lenses for a low cost?
Well, maybe I'll take that. So at the moment, you're not edging or doing any lab work.
No,
So depending on your space, it doesn't require much, certainly, to do the edging. FastGrind takes up about the same amount of space as an edger. So what size is your closet, your room?
about 10 feet wide, 5 feet deep.
Okay, that really is perfect. If you have a 10-foot run, you could fit all your equipment in there, the edger, FastGrind next to it. And then you now have the ability to do a premium progressive with AR coatings. You can offer same-day service so that you can get paid immediately and don't have to wait. And your payback can be very, very quick. Where you could do a premium progressive with AR coating for about $25 instead of $150. So you do one or two of those a day, and your payback is very, very quick.
And I did see Mark in the question and answer section. I think he's got a 6x9 space for a lab, and was wondering if that's enough space as well. And we have fit into smaller than 10-foot runs. The other thing that I'll just tack on right at the end is the water supply. That there are systems that we have on recirculating water supply now. So you really just need electric. And it sounded like, Jason, that your 10-foot run had plumbing already for it. But just for the others that are listening in, wondering if their space would allow for an in-house lab, plumbing isn't even a requirement. It's a nice to have, don't get me wrong, but electric is really the only requirement now.
So let's move on. I want to get a female perspective. Janelle, how you doing, Janelle? Where are you?
Good. How are you? So I'm located in Marietta, Georgia, and I'm in the process of relocating my practice in a couple months, and I want to be able to have in-office edging. Some of the questions were answered already with you guys, that if I had to have a separate blocking system, I see a lot of the systems come already handy with those things. And I kind of want to get an average investment on my end for full surfacing versus just getting a small finishing edger. What would be recommended?
Well, I guess I'll take that since we're in the surfacing business, but really what we're offering with FastGrind, and maybe a lot of people aren't aware out there exactly what it is, but it's actually modified surfacing. So it's a surfacing machine that's made for the ECPs for this small optical, because it's just one machine, and it will generate fine and polish progressives, bifocals, single vision, AR coatings, photochromic lenses, mirrored lenses, everything that you need. But you don't need what you would consider full surface, which is probably about 10 pieces of equipment, which requires a very large space and a skilled operator. So the modified surfacing now makes it very feasible for any optical to start producing their own premium progressives. The investment is very small. It's actually less than an edger, and the skill level required is almost none. The system is run by software that steps anyone through the process. So now you have the ability to, when you put in a lab, to have full surface or surfacing capability and a full lab capability with edging, so that you're controlling your supply, you're saving a lot more money, and your service it will be exceptional.
Right.
And in today's environment, sorry, Perry, but in today's environment, service is so key, because people are used to Amazons and just everything, getting everything immediately. So now more than ever, quick service is paramount.
Yeah, I want to do a little live demonstration here. We have Hugh, who's going to show you what a surfacing lens looks like with the FastGrind system.
Right. So again, just to piggyback on what John was talking about, a traditional surfacing, you start with, as Dr. Brill referred to it earlier, a puck. So this is a raw semi-finished lens, and the goal is to turn this into a finished progressive. So that would be ready to go on any Santinelli edger that you have to mount into the glasses. What FastGrind does is we've already taken 8 of the 10 steps that you're going to use before you ever receive the lens. So there's already been a considerable amount of work done to this product. And what will come out here is a digitally enhanced progressive with AR, but it's already been blocked, taped, generated, and just using a simple 4-pad step, you're able to create and finish progressives in-house.
Go ahead and answer a question that came up from Jason I saw on the feed here, and that was how you do the AR coating with the FastGrind system. And the AR coating is already on the front surface of the lens.
Yeah.
You're actually grinding the back side to put
Yeah,
your
my sleeves
prescription
on.
in. So it's a front side AR, which the performance is fantastic with it. Hopefully that answers your question.
There was another question here from Jennifer Thatcher, and I think it's a great one I want to address. And what she says, do you think it's too risky to consider getting an edger now due to long-lasting effects of coronavirus? I'll say this, before this coronavirus thing, in-office finishing, new integration has been our theme. The past 3 to 4 years, consistently, it's been a major part of my annual business, new integration. And these are practices that never edged before, made the investment, and now they're reaping the rewards. My phone has been ringing. I've been working in from my home, but I've been working because a lot of these docs who I've had conversations with are now sitting home saying, how can I give my business a kickstart? How can I put the rocket boosters on when things start opening back up again? Especially a conversation I had with a doc down in Bloomington, as he says, he thinks it might open up slowly, so he wants to reap more margins per job, which makes sense. So I would say, I mean, unless you think that everything is never going to reopen back to where it was, considering an edger, if you've got the volume, you know, to justify it, which we can talk about, it's pretty much a no-brainer, especially if you're taking VSP and IMED.
Yeah, I want to talk about the cost of stock lenses here. Dr. Brill, we can have a little short conversation here. So if you're wondering what a good price for a CR39 lens with AR, premium AR is, it's around $5 to $7. Sure, you can buy that same lens for $40. It's just going to have a name brand on it. They're going to put it in a fancy sleeve with some nice graphics on it. But most patients are going to be fine in that CR39 lens if you're a plano to -2. And that's majority of people here.
Okay,
Dr. Brill, I know.
Why don't we put it in a clinical setting? So patient goes out, they find a nice frame, and they're not really sure. And usually, what I'll do is say, go back and find the lenses and say, look, I've got your. Let's say it's a simple single vision. I've got your lenses right here. You know, I can have this ready in 15 minutes, 10 minutes. Okay, so that's I mean, once you got the lenses there, I mean, it makes it a lot harder for somebody to say, well, let me go shop around 10 different places. You know, I mean, they're more likely to say, I just want them now.
Right.
So, if you have contact lenses in stock, I mean, it goes a long way for having the patient complete the sale.
And it also helps with the capture rate of second pair sales, the private pay for sure, because you can say, hey, I can get them to you today if you want to wait 20, 25 minutes, not to make that your business. You don't want to make that necessarily your catch. But when you can under promise and over deliver, it means something. Now, when you stock lenses, I love to see folks stocking the more premium lenses. That way, let's say your patient says, you know what, I don't want to pay the extra $75 or $100, whatever your charges are for AR coating. You've got a baked in added value where you can say, well, here at Real Eye Center, pretty much all our patients get AR because it's the best lens for you. If you don't want the AR, it's going to take a little more time. If you do want the AR, so then there's added value in the capture rate for the premium AR as well.
And I think we just put, that's our standard, I mean,
Right. That's just baked in.
we don't want less than the standard. So we don't want people a la carte the exam. Oh, I don't want you to do slit lamp. I don't like that, Now, are there entry levels and high-end levels on FastGrind? I know there is on Santinelli, but tell us about that a little bit. Or is it just one model?
Now, we basically have one model, which does everything that you need it to do. So we're, yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Okay. All right. So I want to talk about training. How do you train a staff member with zero optical experience to get onboarded? Both you gentlemen, I know, make it super easy. I'm going to give an example of mine. Dr. Brill and I hired a comedian into our office. Zero optical experience. She was a yoga instructor before that. Just a good lady. Okay. Within about 6 hours, we had her cutting jobs. All you have to do is have a little tech savviness. You got to have fingers, and you're off to the races. So Hugh, let's say someone swipes their American Express, gives you a check, Venmos you. I don't care how they get you the money. Tell us about your training day.
Yeah, so I actually oversee all of our customer onboarding from Cincinnati, Ohio. So I do it all remotely via either FaceTime, Skype, probably Zoom now. And what we do is we just grind a pair right along with them. So we use screen share technology, and I'm running a job on my end, they're running a job on their end, and the entire machine's plug and play. So they're able to really, that first day, we grind a pair, and then they have unlimited support going forward with us. And they're able to really just take the ball and start running with it. So you're trained within an hour on FastGrind, and then it's off to the races. It's incredibly easy. It's all software driven. So if you're able to just follow the on-screen instructions, which are detailed, then you're able to produce a pair of lenses.
And a follow on to that, because it is so easy and that we do not have to be on site, if you have a new employee, we can train them right away. We also have a very comprehensive video. And as far as from a maintenance standpoint, there is no preventive maintenance, which is required in most machinery. But if something is to go wrong, we can troubleshoot it right over the phone, and we give you a lifetime warranty on all the parts of the machine. So it's built like a battleship, so we give a lifetime warranty.
Hugh, what's your warranty on lenses for stuff?
Yep. So we offer a optional 2-year warranty because we found that the majority of our customers enjoy the low price point of the natural lens, if you will. And because of the quality of the machine and because of the quality of the lenses, they weren't having enough warranty claims to justify the cost. So they opt to not pay for the warranty, but it is there for those that want it. And it's just $5 a lens, no matter if it's clear, photochromic AR, and that's a 2-year warranty, one-time replacement.
Okay. Hey, Jason, while we're on the topic, you mentioned family owned. The reason also we have these companies on is because you guys are independent. I don't know if head honcho Santinelli's on here, but tell us about your background, Santinelli. You guys are not owned by private equity, right?
No, not at all. No, completely family.
Hugh, are you owned by private equity?
No.
Okay, so we have family businesses here. Dr. Brill, you like dealing with family-owned businesses and talking straight to the owner, right?
Right.
I'll have to say that our business has been family-owned since 1923.
Wow.
So we've been almost 100 years in the industry, family-owned.
What'd you do back then in 23?
Well, you know, that was in my younger years. But
yeah.
I want to point out, I'm pretty proud of Hugh and John. Their product is made in the USA. Tell us about that.
Yeah, the FastGrind itself is completely assembled in Cincinnati, Ohio, along with our lenses. So we're doing all of that work that I mentioned that goes into blocking, taping, generating, preparing this lens for FastGrind in Cincinnati, Ohio as well. And to go back for a second about the warranty conversation, I spoke about the warranty on our lenses. The warranty on FastGrind is actually lifetime. So all parts for FastGrind are lifetime warranty, and we have no real problems with that. We stand by it, and it's been a great relief to a lot of our customers that get concerned about bringing on new technology like the brakes, especially around the world, being in over 50 countries. Being able to offer that is fantastic.
Let me ask, there's been several questions about how many jobs do I need to make this make sense? So can you got both vendors here answer that? Is there a certain benchmark you say? Like,
yeah, you're muted. There you
how
go.
did I get muted?
I don't know. There you go.
Am I unmuted?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, okay. Well, we do analysis as well. And normally what we find, because of the huge savings that you get by producing your own lenses, stock lenses certainly will save you a lot. And if you edge, you're saving on the edging from the lab. But if you're producing your own lenses, particularly progressives, the savings is $50 to $100 for each job. So we find that basically if you do one progressive a day, you're paying for your FastGrind system. So it's a very, very easy, quick payback just because of the huge savings by producing premium lenses in-house.
Hey, John, are you able to tell us about the cost of your system?
Yeah, so the FastGrind system, complete, all equipment, everything that you need, computer, the counter that we supply, all the tooling, gauging, everything is just under $30,000. Additionally, then you would need a lens inventory, and that we configure to your needs and your budget. And that could be anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 just to get started. From there, you just replenish as you need to. The system will keep track of what you use, so it's a very easy ordering process. And what gets ordered today gets shipped today. So, because we keep a very large inventory in Cincinnati, so you replenish your stock, you know, within a day or two, without question. So, it's a very low entry point. We also offer leasing, and we have a program that we are introducing the 1st of July, which will be no interest until 2021. But if anybody on this call is interested, we would actually initiate that ahead of time. So you could get no interest, no payments until January of 2021.
Elaine has a question about polycarbonate. Okay. What's
Yeah,
that?
the ABBY value for polycarbonate is very, very low, not that great. And in Canada, it's out of favor. We go mostly with Trivex, or somebody talked about Hivex, which is 1.56. It's kind of a hybrid Trivex, but or plainly 1.6. But I was curious to know why it's so popular in the U.S. Plus, it's easy to scratch much more than any other lenses.
Well, I'll have to agree with you. Polycarbonate has a very low Abbey value. The optics are not that great, but it was promoted here in the States by one of the big chains as a durable lens, and for some reason a lot of people think they need polycarbonate. Outside of the US it's hardly used at all.
Well, the duty to warn thing with the children though, right?
Well, if you want impact resistance, certainly.
Trivex.
Yeah, well, Trivex or poly will work for that, but if you don't need the impact resistance, it's a terrible material. Optically it's bad. And so we offer a 156 as well. It's called Visionaire, and it's got a Abbey value of 43. So it's similar in optics and everything as a Trivex. It does not have the high safety value of that. But.
Thanks, Elaine. And we'll talk to you offline, Jordan. And now Adam, one of the most famous optometrists in the world here.
I don't know about all that, but
Well,
so I love the podcast.
It's just you, no Daryl.
Yeah, no Daryl there, but I think he's listening though. He's watching it, so he's watching
He's
it.
working.
Yeah, we're always working. We never stop working.
Lurking. I said lurking.
The question I have is, like 60% of my jobs have some sort of photochromic. Like I'm like 90% anti-fatigue. So my issue when I try to think about edging or any of this stuff is I can't get a stock lens. Like every time I need to do it, it's not something I can grab off the shelf. So currently I've only been able to save, if I were to buy an edger, the edge fee, and the $7 does not do enough to make the effort worth it. So with the current FastGrind system, do we have access to a photochromic? What are our color options? Do we have an anti-fatigue lens? What are our options with that? And then I'm hearing that it's only a front side AR. My issue is that I just preach to all my patients that backside AR, we're doing better than everybody else. How do I then turn around and tell the same patient that last year I made them get a backside AR, and now all of a sudden it's not that big of a deal? I'm having a few battles in my mind here. I want to get on board. Just help me get there.
Yeah, so you definitely have the lens availability that you were wondering about. So we've got a photochromic called Conversion. It's available in gray and brown right now. And then obviously you've got, as I mentioned earlier, various polarized options with different mirror coats for this other sun market that you may have. It's available in single vision, bifocal, and progressive. So you're going to cover all of your bases there. As far as the AR, it may be worth looking at what the AR was before versus the AR that's on the front side of a FastGrind lens. You've got a really high quality, super hydrophobic AR that we've got customers all over the world that swear by it. And if it's something that, like you said, you're trying to wrap your brain around, we can always send out a sample for you to validate in person. You don't have to jump in with both feet and hope that it works. We want to make sure that it's a comfortable transition, but you're going to be way ahead cost of goods wise, being able to do that work in-house.
Is there an anti-fatigue lens as well? I heard photochromic and line bifocal, but is there an anti-fatigue lens in the FastGrind system?
Are you looking for like a blue light lens, or
the anti-fatigue have like a 0.4, 0.5, 0.7 in the ad for my computer users and stuff like that? Do y'all have anything like that?
Right now, we're going to start with a one ad. It's something that we're looking at, but right now all of our multifocals start at a one.
And is there a significant, I can see the significant cost savings in a progressive that you pay $200 for, but is there a significant cost savings in a photochromic from you guys that we're getting lower? It's less meat there to get a cost savings. How is that with your single vision with the photochromic?
Right. So if you're looking at a photochromic AR, it's going to be 16 or $26.98 per pair for FastGrind, but you also have the service aspect of it as well, where you're able to, as you were saying before, you can't grab it off of the shelf right now. But if you're, doing FastGrind and edging in-house, you are able to grab it off the shelf. So
you're saying your single vision photochromic is how much?
Photochromic AR is $26.98 per pair.
For 2, and then I just have to I'm grinding, I'm doing the surfacing with the FastGrind.
Yes.
Now, we also offer stock lenses too in a
Right.
photochromic AR. So
you can get a photochromic. How much is the photochromic AR stock lens?
do you have that, Hugh?
I do. It's $14.98 per pair.
Okay, and then you just take that, and then you're just taking it to the Stantonelli.
Yeah, you go straight to the Stantonelli there.
Do you have a Santinelli, Adam?
No, I do not. That's been my holdup has been the photochromic anti-fatigue portion of it. So if you can help me figure out a way to solve that answer.
Yeah, offline, absolutely. That's what we're here for. I do have a question that I wanted to kind of bring in Dr. Brill and maybe Perry. And one of my questions, Adam, is in my calling efforts, I see a lot of different trends through my dialogue with my customers. And I see some practices that, like you, do pretty much all their single vision in probably like an Icing. Is that what you're using?
Yeah. I was trying to leave names out of it, but go ahead. They weren't paying me, so I was leaving names out, but okay, go ahead.
Sure. The anti-fatigue lens, I see practices that use that as a primary staple. And my question is, do you think you might be using that more often than you really need to? Dr. Brill, do you have any input on that?
Yeah, I like having, we'll call it a relaxed lens or just whatever the name is on it. We try to be non-branded on there. So the brand should be the Ramsey brand, unless you're working, unless Essilor, unless your whole office is an Essilor office where they've rebranded the whole office.
Nothing's free around here.
We like to think it's the Brill Eye brand. Okay, so it shouldn't matter to the patient, but
I get your point, though.
I would say, Adam, is that you have to be thinking, is this 80 or 90% of your lenses? Or are you talking about, 15%, 10%, 20%?
No, I was getting a single vision. That was my thing. I knew the cost savings of off the shelf has always been, hey, single vision, grabbing a stock lens, you can get that savings immediately. But I didn't realize that you can get a stock photochromic lens off the shelf. So that is a very big savings.
And that photochromic was photochromic AR.
Or you can always order an Icing or Icing. I think in old days, you can always order an Icing or Relax or whatever brand name they want to put on it. And you say, look, that's one I'm going to have to order. But I charge you more for that.
And that would be called an uncut, not a stock.
Yeah, it's an uncut.
My question, I guess, really was why do I see so many? I see randomly a doctor that uses primarily an anti-fatigue lens, and I think, why are you using it so often instead of taking advantage of a stock lens opportunity? Different products.
So I had a patient today. So I'm in the office, and a patient comes in, and I saw him because he's getting headaches on the computer. He broke his glasses, can't see. Comes in, and that's the main thing he wanted. He said, "I want a blue light blocking lens."
That's different.
Asking for it by name, and they're saying they're coming in, and that it's known in my area that people are asking for blue light blocking lenses. So patients are coming in actually asking for it now as well. So it isn't so much the doctors are selling it and putting it on, but now I have patients come in and they're asking me if I don't even prescribe it or offer it to them. They're looking at me like I'm crazy. So
yeah, that's why I wanted to clarify earlier, because we have the Blue Shield line. So we have a Blue Shield line that is the blue light lens, with and without AR for single vision, with AR for progressive. The technology's in the lens. It's obviously becoming more and more popular, but that's not going to have the small bump that you were talking about, because we find that it's not important. That what they're looking for is the relief, which you get in the technology of the Blue Shield aspect of it. Adam, is that helpful as far as there definitely sounds like you are looking to produce the lenses in-house or be able to grab them off the shelf, and it sounds like there's options available.
No, it is helpful. My optician here was asking, just to find out the range. Just wanted to make sure that there wasn't you can only do plus or minus 6. that there was, if it's open to enough people, the system sounds great, and being able to do it in-house and the surfacing has always been the drawback to the edging process or doing in-office finishing, is that so much of the product had to be
yeah, exactly. It can definitely help push over, push you right over that hurdle to be able to justify the whole thing.
Yeah, I know for a lot of people that's always the issue. If you're busy enough, it makes sense. But not all offices are busy enough to do the math and say, hey, can we do this in office? Is there enough prescription types or patient populations that we can get this in? If you have issues with insurance, you have issues with, around here, VSP choice, you have no choice. So, there's certain things where you can't do it. So you're looking at this little small pocket of patients types that is eligible for this, but being able to finish in office and surface in office is the holy grail. If we could get the price right, you can get it right. It is what we all want to do. We all know we need to do it. This system seems like it's a really good option.
Yeah,
so
Adam, and that's what we can take
more.
offline, but we can look at like what you've been doing, and like we said earlier, Jason's got a platform, as do we, to help look back over what you've been doing and say, okay, if you had everything implemented and you just take your last 2 months or last month, whatever, and Jason, if you want to jump in there, what was that?
So, all right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
One more thing is, in my youth, I would think about all the exceptions all the time, and I still kind of do. I'm positive, but I'm thinking, what could go wrong? Because I epitomize Murphy's Law on a lot of these things. So I would say, don't worry about the exceptions. Let's say, we'll just call it 20%. Think about the 80%. And that 80%, you're going to be just as popular as you are for all those specialty lenses. They're, man, this guy, he get that thing out right away. I had to, even if when I went somewhere else or online, he couldn't get out the same day. And a lot of the big box stores now have given up on 1 hour edging. So think about how it works every day, and think about you're with that patient or your optician is, and they say, man, I need lenses. I'm going out of town. I need them today. And you're like, we'll have them ready by 10, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. So think about that pleasure of you doing that. And don't worry about the exceptions. There's always going to be exceptions there. And I mean, you can't think of everything. So
I want to add, like you said, Dr. Brill, sometimes when we edge lenses, we don't make any money. But where we do make the money is loyalty. Everyone wants 2-day Amazon Prime. They want 2-day Ramsey Prime, 2-day Brill Prime, and we can do that. So even if you have to order a boost lens, you get that to your door next day, and in 48 hours, you're going to notify that patient via text message. This is a real life scenario. And they're going to say, was that a mistake that you texted me my glasses are ready? And you're going to say, no, they're ready. Yeah. Because I have some opticians, we get the jobs done in like 1 hour, and like, well, should we wait? Because people are going to be really suspicious if we tell them it's done so soon. I'm thinking, no, just call them.
It'll up the whole service level.
That's one of the things I like to share with my clients as icing on the cake is, once your staff is behind the new way of doing business, ordering lenses in instead of sending frames out and being inefficient, they get to be the hero more often. And they get to deal with these patients who possibly last year when they were in to see you were complaining the job isn't there yet. And now they're ready already. And that patient that they may have been afraid to see that day because they know about last year, this year it's a different type of situation. And I think that's important, the control, the accountability, and owning your own business and eliminating middleman profits and being a better service agent to your patients. If it's possible, I mean, why not?
And what FastGrind does, just for anyone that's in the audience, either tuned in late or not familiar, is FastGrind takes that and opens up the multifocal market, because everything that an edger gives you, being able to use stock lenses or being able to order an uncut from a lab, you're still ordering out the multifocal. FastGrind allows you to make that multifocal in-house, so any of the clientele that needs that faster service or that enhanced customer experience, you're able to give that to the multifocal cohort as well, not just the single vision.
Yeah, thanks, Hugh. Josh Hackney is one of your users, FastGrind folks, and he just made one of the best comments I've seen all day. When you edge in-house, what you're doing is you're saving time and money because you're not paying an employee to be calling the lab, tracking the product. Where the hell is the product? Oh, the UPS man lost it. You can focus on the person in front of you, and that's the patient who needs help.
You want to bring Josh? I think Josh has Sentinel and FastGrind, doesn't he?
Yeah, we can see if he wants to come on. See if he has.
That's a great thing to mention, because there's so many times where the optician is put in an uncomfortable situation to become a psychologist and talk this patient off the ledge, who is going to get on Yelp, and they're going to talk all kinds of smack about your practice because the job's not there yet, and it was promised yesterday and it's not there today. The control factor is one that is just an expected benefit, coinciding perfectly with the profits. Plus, you're going to sell more eyewear, which is revenue. If you're selling more often, making more when you do, and pleasing more patients every single time you do, it's crazy not to at least know what you're missing.
I'm gonna say one thing. So we don't do this as a regular basis, but for some patients where they really were indecisive on what they wanted, Perry and I said, let's just make them up in both. Let's make up both pairs. And I said, taking a risk, but when your cost is minimal, you could do a super service like that. You can say, I'm just going to make them up, surprise them at the dispensing and say, you know, I made up both of them. You couldn't decide, and you know, maybe you give them a break on the second pair. And in every case, they've accepted it and thought that was fantastic, you know. So so I would say you could be super nice to people when you have some margin on it. You know, when somebody wants something extra done, or they're super picky, and you've barely made any money on it, it's really hard to be really nice.
Great. John, take us over.
Yeah, well, I want to thank everybody, especially the hangers on here. There's, I guess, 83 people still out there. Those of you that are edging, your next step should be FastGrind, to be able to do all of your jobs in-house and to offer exceptional service to your patients. I mean, today everyone is expecting it more than ever. Be the Amazon of eye care. For those of you that are looking to get into lab work for the first time, you need to look at doing both right from the get-go. Some people think, oh, I'll start with edging and then put in servicing. But if you're going to do it, you need to do it all at once and educate your patients to the type of service that you can give them with all types of lenses, not just single vision. So if anyone wants to contact us offline, we have ways to show you the ROIs. We can look at your individual practices, and happy to help you through the process. Thank you all for listening.
And what better time to do that than now, when we're all inside, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
We can do all this remotely.
Right.
Hugh.
Well, I think John and Jason covered just about all of it. I do want to say thanks to Perry and Dr. Brill for hosting this. I think it's definitely been a great back and forth conversation, and I think we've been able to answer a lot of the Q&A questions and questions that have come up in the chat. Obviously, if we didn't get to your question and we missed it, or if you just feel more comfortable asking offline, you can reach out to us and we'll get you taken care of. But thanks everybody for coming out.
Dr. Brill, give us some wisdom. 40 years or more of practice.
42.
42.
42. I'm a lifetime AOA member now. So yeah, I would say that there's always going to be some reason you don't do something, from getting married to having kids to starting a practice to, you know, some people hate it, but they've been in commercial practice their whole practice time. They've done okay money-wise, but they're a drone, and you could be in your own practice and be a drone. So there's never the best time, and sometimes you have to take some risks. These are calculated risks. It's a pretty easy decision. I think most of the companies have some risk reversal if there's a time period where you could try it out. I don't know if you guys do, but you know, I think that it's a pretty easy decision, and it's one that goes right to the bottom line. So you're going to be every month when you save several $1,000s on your lab bill, you're like, that's the best thing I ever did. So, and you're in control. So optometrists tend to be introverted and like to do things by the numbers, want studies about it and everything. But sometimes you have to go with your gut, and this is a pretty easy decision. So there's a number of reputable companies in the country. We've got 2 of them here that are independent, and they're there. They have your back. They're there, sticking their neck out every day, and you could just tell by how they answer questions. They're experts at this stuff. So it's not like they just started. But I would act.
Right, smart.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to give one last suggestion here. I know many of us are on managed care. It's not a barrier to doing any of this. Yes, there's crooked rules out there that dictate we have to send jobs to labs, but we all sell second pairs. We all have cash jobs. So there really is no excuse to not act. And for 10 or 20 bucks a day, you can finance any of these machines, any of them, or lease them. So you have the money. Now is the time to spend it. And if you're complaining about not making money in practice, just realize it's because you don't have the tool sets. And with that, many of you are going to get a survey after this. Just fill it out. And I got like a zillion text messages that we're all going to get to. And I'm sure all of us have emails by now.
Yeah.
So I wish you all a good evening, and take lots of walks. There's not.
Hey, thanks, entrepreneur.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
And share this with all your colleagues. The recording will be emailed out. So,
Great.
all right, take care, guys.
Goodbye. We'll see you Thursday.
All right.
Bye.